I know this has been something that's been on the minds of a lot of people since it's been put out on social media, including myself. I don't understand why GameStop is trying to buy eBay. I don't even know if it's a good or a bad idea. So I saw a couple of articles that I wanted to go over because initially, off the top of my head, I think this is a terrible idea, but I don't know. It seems like these are two different entities that probably have shouldn't have anything to do with each other, but apparently, GameStop and their CEO is trying to merge this together. And I'm a little bit worried because I don't know how this is going to play out. I truly don't know. This looks like it's a bad idea all the way around. But I got a couple of articles here, and I'm going to try to figure out a little bit because most of the stuff I see is not necessarily positive. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I talk about gaming and everything under that umbrella. And with me being a retro gamer and like to collect retro games, I like collecting all games actually. But when I look at retro games, I look at either GameStop for the most part, or I look at eBay because GameStop still do their retro thing, so I do look there. And eBay is definitely like one of the go-to places. So the CNN article and a Polygon article, I'm going to just skim through each one and give my thoughts and opinions on what I see because I don't know what's going on here. Shout out to Allison Morrow. Says GameStop pursuit of eBay has analysts scratching their heads. Is I don't understand how this is gonna go. Says it's not just in your head. GameStop pursuit of eBay doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. I agree. Let's see. It was a part of this that I saw that I wanted to look into. Okay, right here. It says for starters, the math doesn't quite math according to several analysts. GameStop, which already has built up a 5% stake in eBay, is worth about 11 billion and has 9 million. I'm sorry, but 9 billion in cash. Then there's another highly confident but not locked in 20 billion in debt financing according to TD Bank, according to GameStop. Oh boy. So in theory, that gets you to 40 billion. Where's the other 16 billion coming from? Cohen, CEO, GameStop CEO, answered the questions thusly in an interview with CNBC Squawk Box on Monday. It's half cash, half stock. He said the details are on our website. Well, I'm not going to go over there and look at all that. Basically, saying with half cash, half stock, they're going to be able to acquire eBay. So Andrew Ross, one of the co-hosts, Andrew Ross Sorkin kept pressing and saying, I'm just trying to understand where the rest of the money's coming from. So he says half cash, half stock. I hear you. I'm just saying that the math doesn't get you to the price that you're offering. So later, Cohen states that we have the ability to issue stock in order to get the deal done. But issuing new shares dilutes the value of the stock and is typically seen as a red flag. Absolutely. You just throw out new shares out there just like printing free money. You like, that doesn't really help in the long run. It usually it's not a good sign. all more when the all the more when the smaller company is trying to buy a larger one. Now, if you don't know that, GameStop is not as big as eBay. eBay is the bigger company, and they're trying to buy that. So that's really, really, this whole thing is like kind of weird. Where is it? It says it usually a dynamic that usually raises questions about whether the deal is financially realistic to begin with. GameStop did not respond to requests for comment. GameStop shares fell 10% on Monday, while eBay surged up to 5%. So, yeah. So from the business side, it looks kind of crazy. It looks like they're going to be in a situation where this could probably collapse both companies if it goes through. And I don't think eBay is going to. I hope they don't go through this because with the situation for gamers and all the other retailers that are on eBay, this could be a really big problem. Now I'm going to go to Polygon right here. It says this is an opinion piece, but it says while GameStop buying eBay will be horrendous for Pokemon card collectors and retro enthusiasts. Now I have my gripes with Pokemon cards. I'm not going to get to that. People steal them, and it's kind of crazy with that side of the yeah retro game enthusiast is up my lane. So with this opinion piece, I just want to see what they got to say here because I'm really interested. uh Reports suggest GameStop may attempt to acquire eBay this month, and there's no reality that ends well. I kind of agree with them. Shout out to Tomas Franzi. I don't know him, but shout out to him. Reports have emerged that GameStop is considering acquisition of eBay. Fans of everything from Pokemon trading cards to retro gaming should hope this deal does not happen, as it could have a disastrous impact. Now, I believe that. I don't think this is nothing good about this because on the top, I don't see where anything about this actually spells great for anybody, even the companies. I don't see where it would be. The Wall Street Journal reported that on May 1st, GameStop has been quietly buying eBay shares and is currently preparing to offer to acquire the publicly traded company. We don't know the potential acquisition price, but eBay's market value is currently around 46 billion. This acquisition would be a big swing for GameStop, which has comparatively smaller market of value of 12 billion. So eBay is at 46 billion and GameStop is at 12. All right. With that said, this action would align with another WSJ report from earlier about a year ago that, okay, let's see. Let's see. Here we go. This acquisition, like this, would be bad on so many levels. The debt the GameStop and eBay would likely take on to make this acquisition possible will be crippling to both companies. I just said that. Like I said, I don't understand how this would work. This sounds like it's something crazy. It is. It really is. In turn, acquisition could lead to layoffs, other frustrating changes for their customers. Now, I'm not going to go into much further with this because basically this is what I think. They do this, they're going to have to cut costs and raise prices just to um, keep the lights on. You're taking on a lot of debt here, so people are going to get laid off. eBay fees are going to go up. I can see all that's happening. Some people that are actually running their businesses off eBay could possibly end up finding other places to go to sell their stuff. And I understand they're trying to compete with Amazon, but I don't see how this helps anybody. This just looks like a whole situation where things could just go left really, really easy. And I think at the end of the day that this shouldn't go through. I think eBay needs to just stay where they are. They're already doing better from what I see. They're doing better than what they've been doing before. They're in a turnaround where things are starting to get better for the company. And for GameStop is trying to, buy them out with a pretty decent size of money in stock, which that sounds okay. But at the end of the day, if eBay is doing what they're doing and they're doing a good job, I don't see how they would just fold in and take this money and run because they could take the money, but and also what did it do for us? I mean, I think even on the GameStop side, I think you will start seeing changes over there where they're already not in a good space with their customer service and or employees, and that could be an issue as well. Where you're probably gonna see some stores maybe closing. I wouldn't be surprised of that because just to cut costs, they could start putting all of their stuff on eBay, and then you're gonna be trying to buy stuff off eBay, and none of the brick and mortar stores will be open anymore. So it's a lot of problems here when it comes to this acquisition possibly being made. So based on what I've been reading in these two articles, I kind of got a little bit of a gist of what's going on. I'm not saying I know everything, but based on the money side, they look like they're not going to be able to do this because people are trying to figure out, well, where the money's coming from. And as far as the consumer side, where it's like, all right, what's going to happen with us? Because I buy things off eBay. I got some games coming from eBay, right now that's going to be here within the next, 3 or 4 days. And, how does that work for me? Am I going to be able to still use this platform just like it normally is, or if I'm going to be in a situation where it's just going to be pretty much it's just gonna be a bad place to even do any business. Some sellers are gonna be like, "Yo, I'm just gonna jump to Amazon and you can buy stuff there," or I'm just not. I'm gonna find another auction site to go to, or find me on Facebook Marketplace. They're just gonna find other places to go because I don't see how this is gonna be viable to the point where this is you know actually will work for everybody. I just don't see it. It just looks like a disaster in the making. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. I'm not really privy to it. I'm just going by the couple of things I've been reading, and these are the two things that I came up with as far as the two articles because it tells you about the money and it kind of gives you another article kind of gives you a feel about how it will feel for consumers if this goes through. But if I have a gut feeling, I don't think that eBay's gonna want to fold. I don't see this happening. This would be devastating if it did. But hey, we seen crazier things, right? But gut feeling, I don't see it's going to happen. But let me know what you guys think. I'm going to get up out of here. I appreciate y'all for making it this far. I really, really do. And I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace.